It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Dog. Thanks for being with me today for what is going to be Behind the Score episode number 26. I am excited to get to this one today. We're doing music by Renaissance, and I have not listened to or reacted to music from Renaissance in quite a while, so I am happy to get back to them. The song that we are looking at today is called A Song for All Seasons. This is the title track from their 8th album, released in 1978. In this, the last and longest track on this particular album, we get another one of their classic orchestrated art rock, prog rock, whatever you want to call it, but one of these really nice suites from what I read in as, and I'm excited to have a score to follow along. We've got Annie Haslam on lead vocals, Michael Dunford is on acoustic and electric guitars, John Tout is on keyboards, John Camp is on the bass, Terrence Sullivan is on drums and percussion. They are assisted by the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. The orchestral arrangement was done by Lewis Clark, and the music is by the band, and the lyrics are by their longtime collaborator, Betty Thatcher. So here's what I'm going to do, y'all. I want to listen to the whole thing first without stopping and without really looking at the score. I just want to listen to it the whole way through to get a feeling for how the whole piece flows. We've got a song that's almost 11 minutes. And then once we're done listening to it, I want to dive back into it with you with the score and pull it apart a little bit and see if we can figure out what makes it tick. So let's do it, y'all. Renaissance, A Song for All Seasons. Here we go. Okay. Some synths with keyboard and orchestra. I'm gonna love looking at the voicing for those chords. 6 and 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5 and 6 and. Love the pitched percussion they've got going on with the orchestra. That sounds like a marimba that's following along with the melody. Okay. Big time bass in there. It's so interesting to hear an orchestra with an electric bass going along. It's a unique sound. Beautiful. Really great string writing. And it's got some rhythmic vitality to it. It's got some groove to it. I think they ended up in E. They start to move as soon as I say something. Back and forth between like the major key and the minor key with some of these voices. they ended up in. So if that was E, then this is A. High sustained string. Okay. Where are they? I am happy that I'm going to have a score to follow along with. It's really subtle movement. Listen to the rhythm underneath Annie's singing. Beautiful. Multiple Annies. I think one of them was up on the high note, on the high octave. Those are some cool chords, y'all. Sounds like a repeat. Are they going back to the beginning of... Yeah, I think so. Like another verse. The bass is sustained through that phrase, but it's like from sol to lay to la to lay and back to sol over the top of it. Every time I come back to her voice, it's such a unique color. She sings very bright vowels. And normally a very bright vowel is something that I don't find particularly appealing in a vocal color, because she makes it work, and I find it very, very beautiful. There's multiple Annies again. Riveting so far, y'all. Taking their time and getting soft. The orchestrations are beautiful. You really do get a sense for pieces that were designed for an orchestra to be there, instead of sort of adding it on in post. Wonderful horns there in the background in their middle range. Is that an English horn? Might just be an oboe, but it sounds like an English horn. I'd love to see how he did that with the strings to get that sound. as I read into the lyrics, it's a song that is talking about just the overall cycles that we go through all of our lives, and it's just we're used to. We reap, we sow, we go from one season to the next. We try to learn as much as we can, but it's just part of the human experience on this planet. And the song for all of it, good times and bad, for all seasons through. Beautiful. I am digging this. It reminds me of some of the really great orchestrations that Elton John had done for some of his hits. Man has north, south, east, and west. Man has music. And makes music. A song for all seasons through. Wow, this is going to be fun, y'all. This I'm pumped. We need to get it going and get it going quick. I need to bring up. Okay, where is my score? Okay, make sure that we're on page 1. Okay. Whew. All right. So, what do we have? Looks like words by Betty Thatcher, music by John Camp, Michael Dunford, John Tout, and Terry Sullivan. So the whole band except for Annie, I think, and then with lyrics by Betty. So let's see, 1 flat here at the beginning, 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5 and 6 and I remember that. That's gonna be interesting. There's those chords at the beginning. He's got fourths going down there. Okay, so it looks like a lead sheet as we're going through. Go into cut time feel, and there's the start of the lyrics. All right. Okay, so not an orchestral score, but there's enough here I think we can figure out what's going on. So let's take a stroll back through a song for all seasons and see what we can come up with. Here we go. That's interesting. Off the beat there. 4, 1, 2, bum, 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 bum. Interesting. A flats against A naturals up there before they resolve in. And those are, hang on, let's see what these things are. I'm going to move this up a little bit. We've got voicings of fourths for the first few chords, right? F to B to E flat, chordal voicing. E to A to D, another chordal voicing. That E and D are brought in there. The same 3 notes. Down here, same 3 notes down there. How about that? And then as this looks like this middle line going down is doubled down here, we get to this big C chord. And then what is this guy? Looks like another chordal voicing there. And we're going to be changing keys to go into D. I'm going to back up just a little bit and keep rolling. Suspended 4 into the D. That's a subtonic C to its to F to A flat to E. Check that out. That repeats back up here. Really neat line. It's got some rhythmic vitality. So the C resolves up to F, but it's chordal there as well. Then A flat goes to E, E minor, E major. Okay. Cool. Just over this E. No, C sharp, my bad. Here's the E minor to B. Minor 4. Back to minor. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That's fucking rad, y'all. Big time end. I need to figure out what was happening in that little section. Big time end to what I would consider as this orchestral big opening here. We're about 3.5 minutes in. So where did we land here? Big time chords land just kind of skating down here. These second inversion triads. They've been doing a lot of these voicings with the fifth of the chords in the bass. Here, this E minor down to D, down to, let's see, C, just right down the scale, and they land on this E. Now this is interesting here. Over this E, they've got an open D chord, which would be like flat 7, and then up to E minor. Big open voicing over that E. And then when they come back to it, they give you a big open voicing on G, which would, these notes are in that chord, with the D being the 7th of that E chord, and then it resolves back in to this D over E. So he's got kind of some, they've got kind of some bitonality happening over those big bass notes. Over this E, you've got a D chord, and then it resolves into an E. Over the E again, it's a G down to D. Over that E pedal, it moves up by a whole step to F, and then you get an F sharp major chord, comes out of nowhere. And then that's really interesting. They've got a C major chord. So over the top of this F sharp major chord, you've got a tritone away, and you have C major that's going against it, and it's separated enough from the F sharps all the way down here that it does tend to sound like two different chords at the same time, bitonality or a bichord there. And this happens occasionally. If you're going to do bitonality, typically we pick stuff that's really discordant from each other so that each can have their own personality. F sharp and C don't have a whole lot of notes in common in their scales. So this movement from this F sharp to this C over the top of the pedal F sharp is really, really interesting. And then, what the hell are they doing there? Bum, 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 bing, bum, right? E flat to an A, another little tritone in through there. And it's interesting, right? The E down to D sharp, which would be the E flat, and then that's where we get the E flat there, but they're working right up against it. And there's the A. Fascinating. And that ends up being sort of an F sound to lead back into what's more of this, I think, but more filled in. And then this big rip up, and we get to, yeah, F sharp major to C. How about that? To end that section. And then this next little bit is going to come next. Let's keep rolling. Here we go. Yes, watch this. A minor with the E, moves up to an F, moves up to F sharp, back to F, then down.
From the start through all time here upon the wind, they saw the rain hand in hand with spring.
Flips down to D,
Earth and the fire,
D minor.
air and the
So
water,
F sharp in the chord, F natural in the chord.
molded the sea and landscape, moving, flowing with no
Okay.
seeming purpose.
Hang on, that confused the crap out of me when I heard it before. What is going on here? I'm going to back up a little bit. So through this section, we've got A minor sort of ruling the territory here. And what I was hearing is the fifth of the chord. If the A is the root here, the fifth of this chord, the E, is going to hold steady and then go up by a half step to this F, right? So they've got this slash notation telling us what's going on over here. That's just an F chord with A in the bass, right? And then they are giving us F sharp diminished with A in the bass. That makes sense to me. As they are doing it, the C that's in this F chord goes down to what would be a C flat. If it was F sharp, no, it would be, well, F sharp diminished is an F sharp and an A and a C. So I don't know that that B makes a whole lot of sense for that. I think that's quite the right notification for that. And then they go back, but mainly the thing that's going on, the E natural there moves up to an F, moves up to an F sharp, right? And then back down to that F and then resolves back into that E. As they move around that, after a couple of phrases, we move down to this D here, and we still are like, there's the F sharp, and then the next measure, F natural. F sharps, F naturals, F sharps, F naturals, and back and forth. And then the F moves to B, B diminished, and B diminished is leading tone to C minor, and that's where they end up, and that's where the strings start going in 16th notes. I want to back this guy up a little bit and catch it and keep going.
Earth and the fire, air and the water, molded the sea and landscape, moving, flowing with no seeming purpose.
1, major 4, 1, flat 6, flat 7, 1.
Summer, time for reflection, time to grow old, the meeting place to rearranging.
And
Face ever changing
interesting move back.
for all our lives. These are
Straight to C minor that time. It's a chromatic third relationship that they're doing.
We reap and sow the seasons of our
Cool. So this is going to repeat back, but where to? Here.
the heart.
all that the orchestrator has added, all of the other lines and little things that have been added into the arrangement.
Misting and fading.
Obligato flute line that you don't find anywhere else. That's a new melody that's been put in there.
Each time the past and the future holding together tomorrow. Springtime, a season for planting, time to love, stillness, world that's waiting.
Green tone. It's like 2 to the next key. Interesting.
For all our lives, these are our roots and it's our way we grow. We reap and sow. We reap and sow the seasons of our lives.
In its second ending, it's down here. Hang on a second. They're doing so much of this, what I would refer to as a chromatic third relationship. These are chords that have a note in common, but they don't share keys in common. For instance, this F minor chord, right, with F down here, and we've got our A flat, and we've got our C, is going to resolve into this A minor chord. Well, F minor with F, A flat, and C has a C in common with an A minor chord. That's the A is a third away from F, but it's not the third that we're used to hearing, right? We're used to hearing the A flat. So in this instance, the A flat's going to resolve up by half step to an A, while the F is going to resolve down by half step to E, and the C stays put. And all of a sudden, we're a third away from where we were, and we've pivoted on a common tone, and it sounds fresh and new and really nice. They did something similar up here going to C minor. If I can remember what they did, it wasn't there. Well, maybe it's somewhere else. I don't remember, but I'm going to keep going and see what else is going to happen. Here we go. Gonna take this D major 7 and just kind of spin it out. I'm going to stop one more time. This is interesting. The fact they've been using over these minor keys both the flat 6 and the Dorian 6, the raised 6 above that bass note kind of throughout whenever they've been in a minor key. So the fact that this D chord has a C sharp in it ends up being like flat 7 to this E minor, which is a nice little way for us to move forward. But I'm thinking the C sharp, that's interesting. I wouldn't normally think of a C sharp being in this D chord if I'm going to go to E minor, but the C sharp is that natural or that raised 6th above that E that brings in what they've been doing previously. Interesting. Okay, here. Beautiful. 3, 4, it's almost like the chord changes, but the bass stays the same. It's like playing D major over the top of E minor. Beautiful horns in through there. Repeats up to here. Second time through, you hear the difference in the voicing in the orchestra. New color, a new doubling. So second ending over here. G minor. Hello. B major. There's another chromatic third.
Why so high? We
that. We're going to get back to this at some point. That's cool coming back from earlier. Minor 5, flat 6, 4. It's going to repeat. But where? Up here? Bass is going. They all sound like they're meant to all be on the same stage at the same time. And that's really what you're going for when you put an ensemble like an orchestra together with a band, a rock band. Coda. Where'd they go? There they are. Okay. There's that phrase, C sharp down to C. I had high expectations, y'all, and this exceeds it. It really, really, really does. What a wonderful tune. I just need to look a little bit more at this. This is some of the magic that they're pulling from here. This chord that they go to, this G minor, like, where did that come from, right? We're going along, and we're in E, right? And then we land on this, like, with the C sharp over it, with the C, the C sharp over it with the C, and then we get a C natural there, and it's okay. The C could be like a fourth above G, and it resolve in like plagal, but we go to G minor all of a sudden, and then we take G and make it like a minor 4 to D, and go to D major over the top of it, and then how did we get to C minor again? That's just interesting. And then again, C minor has an E flat in it, which is a leading tone enharmonically to E, but it's not working that way. It's the minor third of this C minor chord, and then they walk up there. Again, C minor has a C and an E flat and a G in it. The only note that's common with the E minor is the G, right? So the E flat's going to move up by a half step, and the C is going to move down by a half step, and we get to a chord that's a third away, but not the third we're used to hearing. The same thing that they did in that spot before that we talked about. And it's a really interesting way to build these chord progressions, and they did it at the very, very end. C minor leads to E minor, and then we land on that, and that's the big finale there. We land on that big E minor chord, and then we get this major 4 over the top of it before we get flat 7. And so we get a song for all seasons through, and we get the optimism, the Lydian optimism, and the Mixolydian, the other side as well, right? And so it encompasses all of the seasons, all of these experiences, emotions that we run into within the course of our span as we circle the sun each year, and as we try to learn and keep moving forward. Breathtaking. It's really, really wonderful. I'm so happy to have had the opportunity to dive into this like this on a first time listen and share it all with you. Many thanks to Pedro for finding the score to this and sending it along my way. I just have nothing but good things to say about that, y'all. I have continued I've liked Renaissance from the first time that I heard their music to the point where I reached out to Annie and had a wonderful conversation with her. That one we did, I think, back last November, if I'm remembering right. And she was a lovely person to chat with, shared some great stories. And I'm really looking forward later this fall to getting to see Renaissance in action as they perform live here in our home state. I'll be looking forward to that as well. But that's all for today, y'all. Thank you for being with me for A Song for All Seasons by Renaissance. We'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.